This part we'll see creating animated rollover effects for the button. Then we will add audios on mouse over, okay, and create the hit stages. So overall, couple of things to create a dynamic button in Flash. In order to learn all these things like hit stage as well, I'll create a text related buttons. I'll just draw text and define its hit area. First things first, when we create rollover effects, is actually we create a movie clip. Any animated movie clips you have in your computers, in your Flash files, we can drag and drop those animated clips in the hit or in the over stage of your Flash documents. Okay, so if you don't have any ready-made movie clips to use, I'm just going to create one movie clip right now, and then that movie clip we will use as the rollover effect for your Flash file. Okay, so that's the concept. The movie clip I'm going to create is kind of a ripple explosion kind of effect. So all I'm going to do is create a oval tool without fill color, so no fill, and the outline color, whichever color you prefer, you can select. Fine, I'm using that. For the stroke size, I'm just keeping its stroke size, let's say 1.5, slightly thick, or even 2. Then the style of the strokes, maybe dotted strokes. And let me just draw it to see. Okay, that's too lighter. I'm just going to change the stroke color. Okay, so let me just increase the stroke width. Make it about 3. Yeah, that should be alright. So I'm just going to use a dotted stroke with a 3 width and some dark gray shade. With those values, let me create a circle. Okay, now this is a stroke outline circle. Now I'm going to select the whole outline using selection tool, modify, convert to symbol, make it as a type movie clip. Symbol name is rollover clip. Okay, so just now I'm going to use it for mouse over for my button. That's saved. Okay. Now for this movie clip which we have just created, I'm going to double click on it, and inside the editing mode of the clip we will do some animation. Okay, we don't want to create animation for a movie clip on its external scene mode. You make sure you go in editing, so the breadcrumbs should show you that you are inside a rollover clip. Right, inside this movie clips editing mode, that's the actual shape right now. Now this shape, right click on this outline and I will convert that into a motion twin. It allows me to convert it into symbol. I'll just say OK. And by default, I've got some 1 second worth of animation showing the ring. Now here in the timeline, I'll keep my first frame, the playhead on the number 1 frame, and using free transformation tool, I will show this ring quite smaller. I've held down the shift, which is going in a constraint with the aspect ratio. Okay. Now that's a small version of the ring. In a motion twin, when the ring or the playhead reaches to the last frame, using same concept, I'm going to resize the ring. So if you just see the timeline, that is what actually happening. From 1 till the end, this ring is just expanding in its size. Only when it is motion twin from right to left, at the last frame, I can just click on this movie clip and give a color effect alpha, make it transparent. Okay, so when it actually grows, it will go from 100 opacity to zero opacity. So it will fade just like that. Okay, when you test your movie, that's how the ring will look. It's a very simple motion twin. Small circle, big circle, and fading in opacity. Now, if you want to make it a bit more stylized, I'm going to add a new layer. That's my first ring animation, which is on layer 1. You can hold down the Alt key and drag it and drop it onto the top layer at frame number 10, like that. So what will happen is the first ring starts, and when timeline reaches to the 10, the second will start as well. So you can do copy paste like this 2-3 times, and when you test it, this is how actually it looks. So it's a very simple effect for the movie clips. We can have a lot of things you can apply. You can each rotations for each motion twin. I can even give rotation clockwise for second animation. This is how it goes. Right. If you don't want it, you can go back to none. When you go, you can select the movie clip on the last keyframes. That's a problem because you have to just literally click on the last outline. And we can, instead of alpha, maybe you can just apply the color effect as well, like a tint. But then you cannot apply both things together, so you'll have to play around. Maybe at the beginning I will change its color. So at the first keyframe, we can give alpha. It's gonna give you trouble. So you have to work on these combinations of different colors. Maybe I'll just keep it back to normal, which is alpha value. Alpha 100% to alpha 0%. Okay. And that will work. Nice one. Small to big, 100% alpha to 0% alpha. But you can try various other movie clip techniques. Now that's just a rollover effect. If I go back to my scene 1, that's my movie clip. Even if I'll delete, we don't need to worry because that rollover clip is there inside your library symbols. Okay. On stage, now I'm going to create a text. Let's say you create introduction animation for your car's project. Okay. And then you show a button. You need to hit on it and it should go to the next stage or something like that. Then you can simply just do enter. Use text properties to work with you. Use text colors. Now this is a text. What we want is this entire text should be your active hyperlinked region. So we can mention that using a hit area. And on mouse over, we want those rings should start appearing like that. Okay, so the movie clip should play only on the rollover. Now for this, first thing we have to select this text, modify it, convert to symbol, and convert this text into a button. Okay, we can just make it as enter btn, symbol type is button, save it, quickly test. You can see the whole thing is a button. Okay, you can double click so you can edit symbol and you will see your 4 stages. Now in these stages, the first thing I'm going to do is on the hit stage, insert keyframe, and using any shape tool, as long as you have solid color in that shape. You can use oval tool as well. Let's just draw a rectangular patch which is covering considerable area of the text. The reason for that solid area is that will become a definite hit area of your button. Okay. Now that's just a hit area, so you can see your button is quite nicely having a solid region as clickable, but no other effects. Going back to the editing mode, top stage you will only see the text as it is. Over stage, now this is where we want to do that rings explosions. Now to do that, this is the base layer of the button. Now you can insert a new layer and you'll get a new layer with all the 4 stages again available in the timeline. In this stage, I'm going to rename my layer as rollover layer, and on the over stage of that layer I will insert a keyframe. Okay, so here in the over stage, right click, insert keyframe, go to the library, take that movie clip and drag it from here and drop it on top of the text. Now the movie clip is only appearing on the over stage. If you don't want that movie clip to appear on the down stage, just right click, remove frames, and make sure the keyframe only presents on the over stage and nowhere else. Okay, and it's on the separate layer just for our convenience rather than complicating it on the same layer. Now let me test it. That's up and that's mouse over. So we created a movie clip separate and we got a rollover effect on a separate layer. To make it more further, we can add another layer inside the button called audio. For audio also, we can just go to the over stage, insert keyframe, and at that instance of keyframe on the over stage, we can go to Window, Common Libraries, Sounds, and we decided earlier the weather ambience, isn't it? Let's say I like that video, so we can quickly test the sound. You can choose any other sound you like. Literally just take this audio, drag and drop it onto the stage, and you can see in the timeline it shows that sound will only appear from over up until the hit stage. Okay, so with that notes, if I'll test my file, you will only hear the audio. Then you can go to the properties and control the synchronized event should start. Effect is fade out. Repeat only once. Oh, sorry, event should be start. And remove the frames. The length of the audio file is too long. Not remove it. It's only on the over stage, but because the audio file is too long, it should be just a simple event, which is like click. No? Stream will work. No, it's not playing as well. Well, we can try different audios, but that's how dynamic animated buttons been created. You create any movie clips you like, drop them onto the over stage or a down stage as per your choices, add audios for the events as per your choices, and when you go back to the scene, you will see the full button ready. Now, in future, when the interaction designing or visual designing roles, which I explained you, animators or designers, they just create assets like this. So they will just create animated buttons, different style buttons for the same client, and they will keep it in the library. So the person working on the next stage of the project, he will just use any button of his choice. If the client says, I didn't like that, show me something else, he will drop second button, third button. So that's how they have a team split it. Some of them work on the concept. Some of them just work on creating assets like library objects and clips. Some of them work on integrating assets with the project stage, and some work on the testing of the project. So when you get a job in a big companies, you will play various roles like that, creating library items or integrating objects. If you just work as a freelancer yourself, obviously you will do all of this on your own. But in the big team, big projects, you will do part of the process. So that's about creating animated rollover buttons with a mouse over effect.